Welcome to YellBro Road. I am Jordan, and today we're gonna watch the ongoing beef, or the new beef between Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson as like a duo versus Nick Fuentes. I love my gossip, so let's do it. But first, check this out.
Kay fought with the IDF in Gaza in early 2024. He described several incidents in which his unit killed unarmed people, including 2 boys he described as young teenagers.
Anyone you see off the humanitarian road, shoot. Shoot to kill. That's what we were told. Our commander qualified that. Of course, if it's a woman or a child, don't shoot. Try to detain them. Don't be stupid.
Do you think there's a lack of accountability?
I would definitely say there's a lack of accountability. When we lost some people in a firefight, it was just it. Destroy everything. Kill everyone you see.
Kay fought with the...
I mean, and this is going to happen more and more. You're going to have more whistleblowers within the IDF or within the government that are going to start, because everyone knows what's going on over there. And they know it's bad. And a lot of these kids are probably tricked and don't know the things they're engaged in. Not everyone, but if I had to guess, there's enough to where hopefully like a snowball effect happens where someone, uses their courage and stands up and says something, right? Even if it's anonymous, right? More and more start coming out and be like, yo, this is what I witnessed. And then all of a sudden, we are actually getting information on a crime scene and showcasing to the dumb fucks that not every Israeli is down for what their government's doing. Like, that should be obvious, but we're dealing with people like Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes. I'm just saying. But, all right. So, also hit all the links, description box, check them out, share them, read them, donate. Thank you. All right, so this is like a warm-up. Ooh, getting loose. Yeah. Anyways, so you have this little Twitter exchange between Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes. I'm not going to read it through, but it's basically a shit-talking a shit-talking contest. It's kind of hard to say. I will link it. I'm not going to read all of it, but it is kind of fun. There's a funny portion here where Candace is like, I think the best way to handle this for you... Wait, I can't even fucking read that. It's so fucking tiny. I think the best way to handle this is for you to post a clip screaming, I'm a real man again, and refer to me as a bitch a few more times to really prove it, because if a man isn't calling a woman a stupid bitch, is he really a man? I think not. Okay. And then Nick in response says, why don't you put down the phone? Why don't you put the phone down and go make me a sandwich? Which is just hilarious to me. It's rude as fuck and disrespectful, but when it comes to comedy, all fair game there. Anyways, let's get to the videos that are going to, I guess, give us some context. Or a little bit more, hissy-fitting back and forth. I'm going to play a portion of the Candace and Tucker Carlson interview where they talk about Nick. And then I'm going to go listen to Nick and some of his response. So without further ado, let's do it. Here we go.
That's a fascinating observation that has never occurred to me, that the theater kids have taken, literally.
Yeah, the literal theater kids.
That's just...
Here's your next role. You're going to be president.
So, speaking of theater, I just hesitate even to ask this, but because it just opens up all this stuff I don't want to deal with. But you just interviewed Nick Fuentes.
I did.
Or had a conversation with him. What did you think of that? What do you think of him?
I mean, I can tell you my experience was entirely fraudulent with him. I never interview people as a gotcha interview. It's always just that he was making the rounds. He's been around for a while, and kind of his story, when I learned it, because he was banned from everywhere, so I didn't actually know what the backstory was with Nick Fuentes, but then I learned it when he was allowed back on X, And Jeremy Boring, who was then the CEO of Daily Wire, did this X live with him. And
Jeremy Boring did an event with Nick Fuentes.
It was honestly, it was weird. Everything was weird about what happened, but it happened. And Nick told his story, and I was listening in, and said essentially that he was canceled because he started asking questions about Israel. He was 18 years old, and he alleged that it was, very much the fault of the Daily Wire or whatever he said. And I found it very interesting. And I was like, oh, I actually didn't know this was the backstory. Like, maybe this really is a person who had, just ahead of everybody else, was questioning Israel and had like a bad hand given to him.
God damn it, I was muted. Fuck. Sorry, muted. Actually, in reality, Candace, Nick, and even Tucker are actually babies to this topic of Israel and their connections with the U.S. and their foreign policy and all that stuff behind it. These guys are relatively new. I'd say just straight up they're new, but I'll say relatively new. Once again, people have been up and down about this topic for a long time because there was blatant human rights violations and there was an open conflict happening. Like, straight up. This idea of occupied Palestinian does not come from October 7th or like after that date. This goes back years, decades and decades, before Nick was even born. Like, and I think Nick's aware of that as well, but like to say like he's just out in front of everyone, like no. Republicans, I'm not picking teams here, but I'm just saying, like, Republicans are blatantly super late on this topic, which is how it got to where it is now, because no one was speaking up against it, let's be honest, except for the few little, activist people and some journalists and stuff. But before, when you were quote-unquote canceled for talking about Israel in a negative way, no one hears about you. Right? Like, these guys don't know who, like, Cynthia McKinney is. Not saying she's some sort of beacon of truth, but she's someone who spoke up in Congress, then disappeared. Right? So, like, there's people that were saying things, and they didn't get a famous canceling like these guys get. Right? They just get disappeared. You don't hear about them anymore. I mean, they're still around, but I'm saying, like, they're not world-renowned famous because they criticize Israel like these guys get. These people that are, I mean, ridiculously late on this topic. Like, really late. If you're just getting into it 10 years ago, you're fucking late. By a lot. By a lot. And then with these guys, where it's like the last 4 years, maybe, is where they picked up the fucking topic. It's like, good God. Anyways, all right, let's keep it moving. But that was just a weird statement to me. Like, you guys are not out in front. You guys are well behind all three of these people. But all right, here we go.
So I had him on the show. Welcomed him.
To be fair to Nick, he's like a little kid, right? Back when he first said it, he was like 8, or started talking about that. He was like 18 or something, right? I don't know, like 18 or 19, like a college kid. Like, okay, that makes more sense. But for Candace and Tucker, no fucking excuses. Zero. All right, here we go.
Into my home, and he was very nice. We told him we're going to cut a controversial trailer. We're going to show you like these clips of you talking trash about me, and you can talk about whatever you want for as long as you want. Ask any questions you want to ask. It went great. He left. He said, thanks. We can now be friends. And I am not kidding. We published this 11 days later, and I don't even know how to, he just starts screaming, calling me an effing bitch, who set him up. We didn't edit a single thing. Those 11 days, like 2 weeks before we even published the interview, we told him if there's anything that he wanted us to insert. Like, nobody does that if you go on their show.
Yes.
And I genuinely don't know what triggered him, other than me at the very end asking him about, like, or talking to him about family. And it was just the rage that was coming out of him was just weird. And I don't know why he did that. I don't know why he didn't want.
Okay. If you watched the thing, which I did, I watched all of it. I did a 6-hour video on it, actually, that got copyrighted by Candace's team. And I have an active strike because of that, by the way. But whatever. I watched all of it, right? And you can tell the knives came out from Candace. Like, she went on the attack mode. She did. And once again, I view this woman as possibly a psychopath, bro. I actually consider that. Like, really, I actually do consider that. So, someone that puts their hand, I didn't do anything wrong, right? With no feeling behind it. I didn't do nothing. Yeah. I think lying or being deceptive is not a difficult thing for Candace Owens, if I had to guess. So, when she's playing innocent here, in that interview, you could tell, and I think you can physically tell. Like, I'm not some body language expert, but like, if you look at Nick, he's like being casual, talking about his life, right? Like, kind of relaxed. And then he notices, just like the rest of us that reacted to it, there's a moment where, like, Candace kind of goes on the attack a little bit. And you can see his body posture change, and he turns back into the guy you see on your TV screens, right? He turns back into the character of Nick Fuentes, who has to defend his name and defend himself and get into debate bro mode. You know? I thought it was pretty obvious. But Candace, I guess, wasn't doing that. I didn't do anything. But all right, let's continue. It's pretty obvious what happened, and that's why Nick probably flipped out later. Maybe he was being, trying to be nice or not be rude when when he was done with the interview and all that stuff. But afterward, I'm sure he probably looked back at it, or someone mentioned something to him, and he looked at it. He's like, "Wait a minute, she did come after me, didn't she?" Or he noticed it in real time. He's like, "All right, I'll be nice now, but once I get back to my studio or my whatever the fuck I'm doing, I'm gonna let it fly and like shit on you." And she did. And I'll be real, she did scorch the fool. His guard was down, and I think she's kind of scorched him with questioning. Not saying she's some sort of great debate person. I'm just saying, like, she definitely pressed him, like blatantly pressed him, in like a very calculated way, like you could tell. But whatever. All right, let's continue. Here we go.
What triggered him other than me at the very end asking him about or talking to him about family. And it was just the rage that was coming out of him was just weird. And I don't know why he did that. I don't know why he did 180. You had access to me. You could have said anything after. Even if he had said in good faith, I thought I sounded a little weird here, could you cut it out? We probably would have cut it out, because I just don't want people to ever not have a good experience.
Such a psycho.
I understand that.
You know what I'm saying?
And also, you want people, I'll speak for myself. When I invite someone on, especially just to hear their views, I want them to be able to express what they actually think.
Right. Exactly.
And you decide what you think, and you decide how to express it. I mean, that's like a basic human right, kind of.
Yeah.
And so I'm not here to trip you up into saying something you don't mean. I want to hear what you do mean.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So,
and he told the story. He did all of that. And apparently then, and I don't know if it was driven by insecurity. He didn't know how his followers would take the interview, but he just did a complete 180. Lied to his audience, pretended that he was surprised it was behind a paywall. We spoke about him and how we were going to release it. He said, great. I mean, it's a total 180 flip. So I can now say that I didn't listen to other people say that Nick was a bad person. I didn't care about what happened when he was 18, 19, 20, 26. I sat across from a person, had a conversation with him. He behaved one way in person and then put on a show for the internet. So I actually can say my experience with Nick Fuentes is that he's a terrible person and a terrible human being, because why would you do that? There's no reason to do that.
I agree.
You could have come back.
So, anyways, he's a terrible person. He's terrible. Bad person. Like, I'm telling you right now, this lady is like, don't turn your back. This woman would stab you like lightning speed, stab you in the back, bro. Like, I don't know, man. I just smell that shit on this woman. She is straight up like, it's like, you know what you did, Candace. I watched the fucking thing, Candace. He was relaxed, like I said, relaxed and comfortable, and then the knives came out. So you could tell, like, you started, like, digging at him quite a bit, like, near the end. Like, gave him a false sense of security, and then just went after him, right? Then I'm sure he thought about it later, or, yeah, maybe did hear comments from his audience, or whatever, and was like, damn, she did go after me. She did attack. But her, like, yeah, her putting her hands up like is kind of wild. And then the vague statements of, well, you're a terrible person is crazy. Not that I'm saying Nick is the nicest person ever. It's just like, that's just a weird way to go about it. But all right, here we go.
Back onto the show. You could have had beginning of us discussing various topics. I think in many ways, whatever happened to him was when he was 18 may have stunted his growth. Meaning that he now is.
You're not analyzing. You're still You're still on the attack, Candace. You could tell she's on the attack. She's making it sound like she's being empathetic, but she's on the attack. The fucking nails are sharpened, bro. She's dicking claws in. You could tell, bro. Like, I'm sorry. That's what it fucking looks like. It does not. I'm not hearing some empathetic lady that cares about Nick's well-being. Like, oh well, maybe he, doesn't have experience with girls because he has a tiny penis. Maybe. He's not confident about it. Making it sound empathetic, meanwhile you're like digging at the fucking person. Holy shit. Just remember, I said it first. Before bodies start getting discovered, like buried underneath her fucking basement or something, or in her backyard. Before that happens, just remember I warned you. This psycho lady. Psycho Oprah. All right, here we go.
Beginning of us discussing various topics. I think in many ways, whatever happened to him was when he was 18 may have stunted his growth, meaning that he now is responding to the internet, which is filled with people that don't even use their real names. Right? So really, truly, the irony of it all is you could just be like the IDF soldiers just pretending to be his supporters and just getting him to say whatever you want because he's going to do whatever you say. But it was strange. It was totally...
It's like so obvious diss tracking. Obvious diss track, bro. All right, here we go.
So really,
oh,
truly,
sorry, it's
the
fucking
irony
obvious.
of it all is you could just be like the IDF soldiers just pretending to be his supporters and just getting him to say whatever you want because he's going to do whatever you say. But it was strange. It was totally strange. It made no sense. And
Does
I just
he
went,
have a family
chapter
or
closed.
a normal life?
I asked him about that. He said, yeah, he comes from a 2-parent household. That's what he told me.
No. Does he have his own family? Does he?
No, he's not married. And I just offered to him, I was like, yeah, no, I think these are things that you learn when you're married. And he just was vicious about it. And,
About
women
what?
don't tell me what to do or whatever it was. And it was very performative. Like I said the exact same thing to Andrew Tate months earlier. I had him and I said, you should get married. Here's why. And of course, Andrew Tate did not react like that. He told me what his hangups were about marriage. It was just a part of two people communicating on a show. But for whatever reason, like he saw this as like an attack, even though.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure from the interview, Nick's answer was, the life I live right now, I wouldn't be able to like having a family wouldn't be the right thing, according to him, right? In one of his like more vulnerable moments where he's like still like he doesn't see the knives out yet, right? So Candace is being like nice to him, and I think his answer was like, yeah, the life I live is probably not suitable to be having a kid in these circumstances. I think was his answer, right? Candace is just like. By the way, like it's a weird thing, like Candace saying this about it, like you should get married. When I think she got married to some guy she met, or met after 17 days. She married him, and they never went on a date. And I think he proposed on a fucking Zoom call or something, or like a FaceTime call. So it's like, like your marriage sounds sus as fuck, like very sus. And it's all connected to TPUSA and these fucking random fucking bank people or military people or intelligence people. And this looked like some sort of arranged agreement. That's what it fucking looks like. All right, and once again, do not trust me. I can't say I know exactly if that's the case, but that is something I've seen some people claim is documented. That she married her husband, or agreed to marry her husband 17 days after, I guess, meeting him to some degree. And by the way, and they never went on an actual date before. That just screams weird, right? Like arranged marriage sounding shit. Anyways, let's continue.
It was weird. It was
That's
totally
a
weird.
tender spot. Well, okay. Has it occurred to you that, and I just want to say, I haven't watched a lot of Nick Fuentes in my life at all. But what I've seen, the guy's very talented. Like just as a well, let me just say this. As someone who's talked to cameras his whole life, it is very hard to sit and just like riff for 20 minutes. And I think it's an amazing skill. And he
Do it all the time, pal. Do it all the time.
has that skill.
I just ramble
But
more.
I also have noticed that his targets are all people who are sincere, non-crazy, non-hateful opponents of neocon politics.
Right.
Who's he talking about? Does he have names for that? If you mean you two, Candace, that's fucking laughable. And Tucker, once again, you're brand new to not being a neocon. Like, you're new to that. You're new. Like, you finally walked outside, right, within like the last several years. Like, you're brand new to this whole not being a neocon thing. Let's be honest, right? You worked at what, CNN, selling the Iraq War for all those years. How old were you back then? Probably like 30 something, right? Maybe even 40. I don't know. It's like, that's a lot of life lived to be a neocon, and then, you know, whatever, 10 years of not being a neocon. It's like, you're pretty new to not being that thing. So, I don't know. Like, he's saying everyone that Nick Fuentes goes after are good people. I want to hear him name them, but he probably won't, if I had to guess. Probably just a bland nothing statement to imply something that I think Tucker's about to imply. Here we go.
So you have to kind of wonder about that. So
Yeah,
Nick
it
Fuentes
makes
is
you
like,
wonder,
oh,
huh?
I don't like the neocons. But then his targets are J.D. Vance,
Neocon?
Joe Kent. He like he
I
got
don't know who
involved
that
in Joe
is.
Kent's campaign with
I
a
didn't know
super.
that.
Oh, yes.
The fact that his answer was J.D. Vance is crazy. It's like, that's the guy that Nick goes after? That you're like, why would you go after J.D. Vance? All the tech shit, Palantir, let's be real, the Neocon 2.0, where they're using a lot of AI shit and tech, all these Pentagon contracts that are going out to these AI companies, from Elon Musk to Sam Altman at ChatGPT, or Google has a contract with the Pentagon. Like, yeah, JD Vance is supposed to be like the main guy ushering it into the Trump administration. All this tech shit, and the tech pros getting all this fucking money and getting all this new military capabilities. All right. I guess Tucker's just wholly unaware of that. Maybe he's still staring at Israel too hard, that he's not looking at actual issues, like other issues that are happening in life. It's like, fuck, he's late again. Tucker's late again. Congratulations, you scorched Ted Cruz, but you missed out on J.D. Vance. Like, you missed out, bud. Fuck. There is reasons to go out. I don't know the Joe Kent guy, but J.D. Vance, there is a laundry list of shit to go after with that guy. And he backs everything Trump does. He defends it and backs it. So thus, he is a neocon as well. Fuck. Watch these guys start campaigning that fool out into the world. Once Trump's term's over, watch these fools get out there and say, "Yo, vote for J.D. Vance." He's less hawkish on war than Donald Trump is, which means you're getting MAGA, but better. Fuck. If they do that, fuck my life. And if people fall for that, good God. You're letting Sippy Cup Nick outflank you on this shit. And he does. He's outflanking both of them on that stuff. Because, yeah. All right, here we go.
You, me, and it's like,
yeah, there's a reason to go
What is
after you
that?
guys.
Dave Smith.
Dave
And I asked him about that because that's a question that I had. So I did the right thing by asking him to his face. What's up with this? Like, why do you attack Dave Smith? You say that like your biggest critique is that America's being controlled by Israel. Then you have Dave Smith, who's been such a sound voice. And by the way, opposite experience with Dave Smith. I have my podcast. He's a fantastic human being.
One of the
I
nicest,
judge
Dave
people.
Smith is one of the nicest people
Fantastic
ever.
human.
Yes.
And so I judge people according to my experiences with them. And so Nick is being judged according to my experience with him.
But like, what is this?
The critiques of Dave Smith, there's plenty of room to critique him. Does Dave Smith scream sus? No, he screams like pretty dumb on certain things. I guess more astute in others. like once again, he got tricked by Trump, right? Remember, Nick Fuentes did not vote for Trump. Not to say he didn't like quasi campaign for him a bit. Let's be honest, most people were doing that, from Jimmy Dores to Dave Smith to Tucker Carlson to Candace Owens. They're all kind of doing that. But I think Nick is only one of them that didn't vote for Trump, as far as I understand. All right? So, and by the way, like Dave Smith had to apologize for some shit that was obviously wrong. Some shit that if you go before the 2024 election, if you go days before that, and I talked to Dave, like, yo, Dave, you campaigning for this guy and supporting him is a mistake, a big mistake. And there were people telling him that, actually. A friend of mine has a recording of him in it's like Twitter Spaces or something, where he's saying these, like he's debating another libertarian person, and this guy's bringing up all the issues that should be brought up when it comes to the Trump administration. And I think he brought up all the tech stuff with JD Vance as well. He was like, yo, this is Trump's like a Trojan horse to fuck you guys over. And of course, Dave dismissed this person. You know, the nicest guy you ever heard of, right, Tucker? The nicest guy ever? Maybe to other celebrities, but maybe to regular people, he's not so, you know, especially if he's being critiqued. He's not such a nice guy, right? He will do whatever to like win a debate, I guess. But either way, it's like he was dead wrong about Trump. Dead fucking wrong. And he had to apologize for it, which is commendable to apologize for that. But at the same time, it's like there was blatant, obvious warnings of it. Like blatant obvious. And Dave didn't pick that up. So yes, there's room to criticize him too. Not saying the way Nick does it is good, but I'm just saying there's room for every single one of you motherfuckers to be like critiqued, like, or even suspicious of, like I am of Candace. I'm very suspicious of that woman, bro. Really am. But all right, enough rambling. Here we go.
I don't get
Where
it.
does
I
the
don't
funding
understand
come
it.
from? I probably shouldn't even say this, but the only reason I know who he is because someone sent me a video a few years ago of him attacking me, and I was like, so I'm looking at this, and I'm like, well, first of all, this kid's really talented, like legit, and I can assess that just having done the job for so long. So I was like, wow, lots of talent, native talent, and he's attacking my dad as a CIA, his dad's in the CIA or whatever, and I'm like, well, that's no, untrue. Then my father dies, and I learn actually, yeah, was involved in that world. I was completely shocked by it. So no one has to believe me, but that's just a fact.
Right.
Like Tucker, he's late on everything. He is just late. Fuck, is he part black or something? Tucker's just late all day and night on like everything, even on your dad. Like your dad. I'm sure your dad would keep it hidden from you, but you are connected in all type of political shit. You have people that from all over politics talking to you, and you talking to them. You have the ability to research things, and you don't. Of course, you find out after he's alive. Like instead of like being able to talk to him and get maybe hear information you never heard before. Not saying to use your father as like some sort of tool or something, but I'm saying like the idea of just conversating with him and like being enlightened on like, damn, this is how things may be working underneath the hood, you know? So, but once again, Tucker, late again. Oh, fuck. All right, here we go.
This was in March of this year. And I'm like, well, how the hell would this child from Chicago, my dad was 84 when he passed. Like, who does this guy know who my dad is? And like, he's in the intelligence world. How would he know that? And I
Wait, so that was his critique of
Google?
you? I didn't see it. It was
yeah, someone just sent me this video and it was like, you can't believe anything Carlson says because his father was in the CIA and he's a CIA working on behalf of the CIA. Well, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious, and I actually feel emotional in my anger towards CIA. And I think that comes out on the air quite regularly.
Right.
And so the idea that I'm working for the CIA is like deranged.
Well, if it helps.
No. That's like, with politics, Tucker, sorry about your feelings, but these questions are allowed to be asked. It's not deranged. I'm sorry, if you follow your movements or Candace's movements or even Nick's movements, any of these people, you could be considered, fuck it. You can look at me in my channel. anyone could, like, everyone's on the table. That is necessary for things to actually improve and get better, because if there's a fucking snake in the fucking team somewhere just hiding around, right, and they're, you know, quietly subverting what you're trying to do politically, like, they could ruin your shit. So that's why everyone's worthy of being asked these questions about, like, hey, you know, these things look weird. Can you explain them to me? Right? Maybe it shouldn't be like all out, you know, incriminations or, you know, right? Like, it shouldn't be just outright, like, you are this, you are CIA. I mean, I do that with Alex Jones, but I'm half joking when I say it, okay? He was just a bad actor. But yeah, like, at the same time, the questions should be asked. 100%. 100%. There's room for that, Tucker. And once again, you being late on all these fucking topics, like conveniently late when it's like you're just, not just late, but like too late. Where this guy talking about, you know, the foreign policy of the U.S. or what we do with Israel, like in regards to Gaza, like you're late on this stuff. But by the time you say it, it's like it's too late. The job's almost finished. Like, damn, Trump may be betraying us. You know, 7 months after he already took office. Like, yeah, it's a little late, Tucker and Candace. It's so late that it can look fucking sus. Tucker needs to get that through his fucking skull. Just being honest, man. All right, here we go.
Towards CIA.
Look how angry I get.
That comes out on the air quite regularly.
Nothing.
Right.
And so the idea that I'm working for the CIA is like deranged.
Well, if it helps, he said I'm funded by Russia now. Since the interview, he then did a thing and said I was funded by Russia.
But you would be
so okay.
a lot more likely to take Russian money than I would be to work for the CIA, because you would never take Russian money, and you're not Russian. But
you don't know that.
I really hate the CIA. And I mean, right. I mean, that's like very offensive to me. So why would you?
It's like personal for you.
Well, so you could. Anyone can say words out loud. Like, Tucker, put yourself in the audience's seat. And then if you hear someone saying, like, oh, but I hate them. I would never join them. I hate them. Is that good enough, Tucker? To where the question can't be asked at all? It's like, that statement alone is sus, bro. Because you know that your fans are going to be like, Tucker's not in the CIA. He hates them. They're just going to repeat what you just say. What you just said. You're going to like repeat that shit all over the place. Meanwhile, there's no real substance behind it. You're just saying that. Anyone can say fucking words out loud. But Candace, she's not Russian. She would never take Russian money. That's not an investigation. Sorry. That doesn't stand up to the scrutiny that's needed for that. I'm sorry. That's just a statement you said out loud. And by the way, I don't even know if he even said it that way. Who knows what Nick said? I didn't hear about it with the Russian stuff. I did not hear his direct words about it. But from my experience of Candace, I could definitely see her being either hyperbolic or exaggerating things or stretching the truth for the sake of making someone else look bad. I'm sorry. This what I've seen from her. This is not beyond this person. That is not some sort of, oh, Candace would never do that. Like, nope. I'm sorry. I've seen too much. I've seen shit in this, and just in this interview, just in this portion of the video so far. I've seen that from her already, where she's like, no, Candace, you did start getting on like attack mode about his ideas or like race and IQ and all that stuff, right? You kind of started going at him. Like, that's what it looks like. But then she throws her hands up and says, no, I wasn't. I was being so nice. Fuck. But anyways. Yeah, these guys are either just stupid or they are fucking, actors. Here we go.
A little bit.
Yeah.
And anyway, like, who is this kid exactly?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's just an accident that the guy exclusively goes after people who are in roughly the same. And then he gets up there and he's like, making Holocaust jokes. And it's like, is it possible that this is like David Duke? And David Duke, every time I had a new show, David Duke would endorse my show. I don't know. Who the hell is David Duke? Well, David Duke is obviously part of a campaign to discredit people on the right, obviously.
Mm.
And I think it's very obvious that Nick Fuentes is exactly the same. Doesn't mean everything he says is false. It doesn't mean he's not talented. He's enormously talented. Doesn't mean he's a bad person. I'm not attacking him personally, but he is clearly part of a campaign to discredit non-crazy right voices.
You know,
That's obvious to me. I've been around a long time. I know it when I see it.
Yeah. And
Whoa. So that's a hefty accusation. See, I'm CIA. I hate the CIA. Maybe you're CIA. It's Tucker's response to all this. Now, what do I think in regards to that question before I analyze where Tucker's at, I guess? Is Nick some sort of, agent provocateur or something like that to discredit the right, quote unquote? I don't think so. He could be. But he's more likely to be tricked by intelligence than be intelligence himself. That's my guess. But as far as what I've seen, I don't think so. I think he's like just some kid who gathered a following, right? So he's confident, right? And he speaks loudly and confident, even if he's saying stupid shit. But the things he questions and toplessly brings up, that, let's be real, outflank both of these people. Right, the topics themselves outflank Candace, they outflank Tucker, right? Like, that's the thing for me where I'm like, nah, I don't think so. He could be, and it's a worthy question to ask. It really is. Just like coming from these two, it's like, I don't know about that. To discredit the right, in what way? Like, what do you mean? Like, he gets on the show and he says, fuck Trump. All right? Fuck Trump. He's lying to us about this, the Epstein stuff, the war, the economy, the immigration, right? He's going against the quote-unquote right. He's going against you two. How would that be him trying to sneak his way in and then all of a sudden, pop out of take the mask off, like, look, gotcha, guys. The CIA got you now, right? He's not befriending you guys. So, like, in fact, the more Nick talks, the more he isolates himself. I'm sure he's getting his following's growing, right? I'm sure his audience is getting bigger and stuff. I think there's a limit, a pretty strict limit to that because of his takes. But, yeah, I think he's further isolating himself kind of intellectually with the quote-unquote right wing. Which means, and if he's out there shitting on all of you, how does that make him some sort of guy that's trying to snuggle up next to you and then, I don't know, like steal your fans or, do some sort of sneak attack, intelligence style, right? In fact, that's more what Candace looked like she was doing with the whole Nick Fuentes interview, where she's roping in Nick's audience and then quietly start like a little mini debate in the midst of the interview and catch Nick off guard and then start kind of hitting him from different angles. Pause. And then people are like, damn, Candace is kind of right. Candace is kind of smart. Maybe I like Candace. Like, that looks more like you were being sus, Candace. But whatever, we'll continue. Let's see if they have anything to substantiate any of this. Once again, Tucker's example was David Duke. Like, oh, David Duke is following Tucker Carlson. David Duke is a big fan of Tucker Carlson. Thus, it makes Tucker look bad because, quote-unquote, white supremacist David Duke is, in love with Tucker Carlson. That was his example. How does that apply to Nick? I don't think he's showcased any, deep love for any of you people. Thus, he's isolating from you, not attaching to you, and then, trying to give you a bad name by his own with his own actions. That doesn't make sense. That's just a weird statement. That's weird, man. But all right, let's hear more, I guess. I don't know how long I'm going to keep playing this, but let's hear more.
And I will say, I don't understand it. We were very kind to
Fucking
him.
SummerSlam
Like,
tonight, bro.
Truly, like we almost
Ready.
said, like we felt maybe he was a bit lonely. We should invite him back
to
for
watch
dinner.
terrible
I mean,
wrestling.
that's how good of an experience I had. And
Yeah, it's clearly it's
and
a
then it was a
sad-
180. So it's either
Once again, Candace, I'm sorry. I saw the knives out. I saw that shit, bro. That wasn't like sweet interview thing. Like I was so nice to you. What happened? Like, no, you little fucking liar. Holy fuck. This is incredible coming from these people. Incredible statements. Here we go.
truly, like we almost said, like we felt maybe he was a bit lonely. We should invite him back for dinner. I mean, that's
He's
how
a bit
good of an
lonely.
experience I
He's
had.
fucking sneak dissing this fool. I didn't even pick up on that in the first listening. It's like, oh, he looks like a lonely fucking like loser. So I was like, hey, maybe you should stay for dinner because I'm such a nice person. She is fucking shooting fucking silenced pistols at this fool from underneath the coat and shit. Just poop, poop, just shooting at this fool, bro. Come on, the fucking passive aggressive little statements in there, bro. Holy shit. I mean, I'm telling you, like, this woman is, I think she's batshit crazy, bro. Batshit crazy. And is willing to do whatever to snipe down her enemies. I kid you not. Which is peak behavior of a narcissistic psychopath, in my humble opinion. Forgive me for saying that without a degree. And once again, don't even take it as truth at all. These are just my intuitive opinions about this person. Yeah, that was a crazy little sneak diss right there. I almost missed it, too. Here it is again.
And I will say, I don't understand it. We were very kind to him. Like, I truly, like, we almost said, like, we felt maybe he was a bit lonely. We should invite him back for dinner. I mean, that's how good of an experience I had.
Yeah, it's clearly
and then it was a 180. So it's either A, it's being driven from like a little boy insecurity, and he just was so worried that he like just went on the attack because he doesn't know how to have normal relations after being banned everywhere.
Well, I think there's
that
the
could be one element.
the angry gay
Or-
kid thing.
It sound the angry gay kid thing. What the fuck? Yo, these fools are out here trying to sneak this with the mask of it being empathetic. Now Tucker's joining in. He's like, yeah, let me do that too. Yeah, just a frustrated little gay kid. It's like, what? What the fuck? They're fucking sniping at this fool. And then if Nick, which we're gonna play, right? When or if Nick goes fucking crazy over this, is like, yo, fuck both of you, fuck you. They're gonna be like, but I was so calm and I was saying nice things and I was concerned with your well-being. It's like, no, you fucking weren't. You're diss tracking this fool, pretending to be like, you know, like we're the nice guy. We're looking after him. We just care about him. We care about his soul. Christ is king. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. These fucking sneak disses. Yeah, I'd be pissed. I'm like, bro, I can see what you're doing. Don't bullshit me. Like you're here to like protect me or protect my feelings or something. Bullshit. All right, here we go. If anyone who doesn't see it, like I don't know what to fucking tell you. If you don't see this shit, I'm sorry. Here we go.
Know how to have normal relations after being banned everywhere.
Well, I think there's
that could be one element.
the angry gay
Or-
kid thing going on.
Yeah, or
The
it's
angry gay kid thing.
what you're
the
saying,
fuck
where
does
he
that
does
mean?
this, he's lying to everybody and pretending that things are one way when it's not. I can say
Why is he
lied.
attacking Joe Kent, who,
The fuck?
I mean, Joe Kent worked as a CIA contractor, paramilitary contractor. He was in the U.S. military for years fighting our neocon wars. And his wife was killed in Syria in one of those wars. Joe Kent is the single most sincere critic, and I would say the one with the most credibility in the United States to say this foreign policy is bad. It killed my wife. I was a part of it. Joe Kent is actually someone the CIA doesn't like at all because he understands how it operates. And for Nick Fuentes, who's like some child from Chicago, to go after him specifically, one congressional seat in Washington State.
That is random.
It's not random, though. It's the opposite of random. Joe Kent was number one on the list of people they wanted to knock off, people who believe in our
This is incredible.
neocon foreign policy. They wanted Joe Kent out because he could stand up and say,
Joe
I
Kent?
actually know. I've got the receipts. My wife was killed in Syria. You had to take that guy out. And Nick Fuentes, this child, this weird little gay kid in his basement
Yo.
in Chicago, is participating in a super PAC to bump off Joe Kent. Like, I've been around this my whole life. I know what that is.
Now, yeah, those could be weird actions for sure, but here's the room I would leave. I'm gonna leave Nick as far as possibilities go, but that is very sus. Or it could be like, I don't know the Joe Kent guy at all, but here's the thing: when you have people that become prominent, like this is like the kind of like the Tulsi Gabbard effect, right? Where like someone becomes prominent, like a Tulsi Gabbard, and you're like, nah, she's sus. Nah, she's sus, right? Even though, like, yo, of all the people, why would you go after Tulsi Gabbard? If you fast forward to now, it makes fucking sense, doesn't it? It makes a lot of sense. So sometimes people are looking for those things of like someone who's just getting like showered with love and praise and admiration, and it's like, huh, what if this guy's sus or this lady's sus? Right? Like it's too much admiration to where sometimes people have like counter reactions to look at it and be like, this is too much. Like, let me look into this person because what if they become the future presidential candidate or something like that, right? Where it's like, damn, we should have been calling this out from the beginning. We missed out on it. That people do have those reactions. So that's the room I'm leaving Nick. But there's room to call what Nick was doing as sus. There's room for that, for sure. But the weird little gay kid from Chicago.
Yo, what? Like,
does Tucker Carlson talk like that? What the fuck?
This literal gay kid in his basement? Like, what?
Has Tucker ever talked like that? Like, ever? What the fuck?
Idea.
Is Nick openly gay or something? Like, I would never expect, like he's like, he's breaking out of his fucking face to say this shit about Nick, which, for me, makes Tucker look sus as shit. Because maybe Nick is garnering an audience, not saying I love anything about his ideologies he has. But he's garnering an audience, right? And he's, I guess, going against the grain, against the system in a way. And thus, maybe if you were sus or intelligence or work for or paid by or whatever the fuck, maybe you'd have a big name like Tucker go out. Like, the thing that they're explaining could be what's happening back towards Nick from Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. So, yeah, this is just a weird, this kind of just jumped out of nowhere, too. It's like, all of a sudden, weird gay kid in his basement from Chicago. But, all right, here we go. I'll play a little bit more, I guess.
It's just an organized effort.
Yeah.
And he also did the thing that David Duke always did.
Is that an R3?
Me, which is be like, oh, yeah, it's my friend.
Oh, my bad.
It's like, oh, Tucker Carlson's been endorsed by David Duke.
Mm.
I've been making like the anti-racist argument my whole life.
Right.
Like, I'm not for David Duke. Do I think David Duke is right when he's against affirmative action? You bet I do. But I'm not for David Duke. But David Duke would try to discredit people by hugging them.
Mm.
And that's exactly what Fuentes did. He goes out there and meet all these people. Show up, hi, I'm Nick Fuentes. Can I get my picture with you?
Mm.
That's a campaign to destroy credible voices on the right. And Fuentes is part of it.
Wow.
And I know I'm inviting endless
Wow.
trouble by saying this because, this is a kid with a lot of spare time. But
Bro, the sneak disses from these guys. They're sneak dissing him. Yeah. They're overtly and sneak dissing him at the same time. They are just throwing shit at this kid. God damn. And then they're gonna like, Nick, why are you yelling at them? Like, you can see what they're doing. Right? In fact, I would expect an angry response if they're like a real person and not some sort of intelligence asset. Like, I don't mind people getting emotional about things that are said about them or about something they care about. I don't mind that at all. So, doesn't mean Nick's off the hook for me. I'm just saying. Yeah. Anyways, all right. There we go. The weird sneak dissing is incredible.
saying this because, this is a kid with a lot of spare time.
He's got no
But
life.
it's just a fact. And I've seen it a lot.
Yeah.
And I you can believe me or not, but I know what I'm talking about.
I can confirm he's dishonest. I mean, there's no, so it's like you use that.
That's not good enough. That is not good enough. You can believe me or not, but I know what I'm talking about. From you, Tucker? Like, that holds no weight for me. For your fans, that's where it holds weight. And Candace's fans, right? That's where it holds weight at. The people you already, like, mind melted into following what you do. whether it's for business or it's for intelligence shit. So yeah, your fans will uptake that for sure. But for people that have brains and have observed your little evolution, your little process throughout the years, your character arc, if you will, like that means nothing coming from you. You hold no weight of credibility to me. Congratulations, you made Ted Cruz look stupid. Good job, Tucker. Congratulations, Candace. You pointed out kids are dying in Gaza. Really late, but you did it. Congratulations. Like, really late. Fuck. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. It's not, like, once again, this is not even me trying to defend Nick. It's just hearing these, coming from these motherfuckers. That's what's bothering me. Here we go.
As your, like, I could not determine what his motives were. And I said, you know what? I don't have time for this. I gave you a fair chance, gave you a fair shake, and you are a fundamentally dishonest human being. You know, there was no reason to do it. If he had not done that show and screamed and yelled, his followers would have been like, oh, that was an interesting conversation between two people who agreed some, disagreed some, and like that was it. It was interesting that he got there. He doesn't want to be, and I can tell you that he doesn't want to be anywhere but where he is. He doesn't want to have normal relations. And it did sort of feel, and I said that to him, that he's like responding to orders somewhere, because why are you attacking why are you attacking Dave Smith? What is the issue with Dave Smith? And he couldn't answer the question.
Exactly.
He couldn't answer the question. He was just like, well,
the fakest thing I've ever seen.
And I'm like, well, why do you hate Dave Smith over Joe Rogan? And it's like, well, Dave Smith is this kind of a Jew. And I'm like, okay, I don't either. You really are this immature and you haven't gotten further in your
Jared
ideas,
Taylor school,
or you're just attacking people and making people think that these attacks are legitimate when they're really not. And we were so kind to him that I was just like, okay.
He's attacking Dave Smith because Dave Smith is effective and credible.
He's very effective.
Because he's smart. He's a decent person. There's no hate on Dave Smith. And you would smell it if there was and there isn't. And
Dave Smith is severely overrated by these fools. I'm just going to be honest. Another late person. They're always late, aren't they? It's incredible. Like, by the way, this is not some sort of me thing. I've been watching content creators throughout years of time, right? And there's been people that have been saying things that Dave Smith says 4, 5, 8 years later. Well, I don't even know Dave that far back, but like he's saying things like of recent that were said a long fucking time ago by content creators about the whole Trump thing alone is like, these guys were talking about like how sus and obviously sus Trump is, and his policies from his first administration, and the things he's saying to people's faces and rhetoric, but what he's actually doing behind closed doors. Been pointing it out nonstop. And once again, there's a person that directly confronted Dave Smith about all this stuff. And he's like, oh, whatever. Dave's like, oh, whatever. So smart is not the thing I'm going to go with for Dave Smith. Now, does he look smart next to Josh Hammer? Sure. Does he look smart next to Alex Berenson? Sure. Does he look smart next to Ben Shapiro? Okay. But if he's like, someone was like to take time and pick apart Dave Smith, there's plenty of shit there to pick apart. Not in the world of like sus, in my opinion. I don't think Dave is sus at all. I think Dave is, if I had to guess, a well-meaning guy, like a well-meaning, like maybe even a really well-meaning guy. Like he really cares, like with other people. But still, the faults are what they are. I think it's pretty obvious. Where he enters debates to more so win them than to, I guess, make a statement about kind of the moral dilemma that we're in society and in the world on any topic. I guess specifically Israel, Gaza, or anything like in foreign policy, I guess. But he doesn't really like. I don't think he drives the point home of the moral fucking, shit we are floating in right now. And instead, it looks more like he wants to factoid and win the debate. And it's just, it is what it is. But he doesn't come off as like some sort of weird intelligence guy. He's like a regular guy. Like in that fucking debate yesterday with Alex Berenson, he's like, "Yo, shut up, faggot!" He just fucking screams it like, "Yo, Jesus Christ, Dave, you're gonna get me kicked off of YouTube, bud." God damn. It's like, listen to me. You are really gay, okay? Your argument is really gay. It was just fucking funny. I was like, God damn, Dave. It's usually in more control than, but it looked more like he maybe recognized the Alex Berenson guy as another just regular fucking person, right? Who happens to be in these circumstances of life, right? With a bias. But with someone like Douglas Murray, he looked shell-shocked. He looked shell-shocked. If you actually watch that thing again, Douglas Murray, literally, Dave on a leash, just walks him around all the topics, just walks him down the fucking sidewalk. It's incredible. Now, granted, Douglas was so overtly wrong about everything he was saying that people are like, fuck you, asshole. So I guess Dave, quote-unquote, won by default. But Dave was like, it was deer in headlights. Because I don't think he understood how dark these things can get. I don't think he realized that. He took Douglas as like just some regular guy who has bad beliefs or something, and didn't realize when, hey, well, and there's like they're massacring children over there. Like, no, that's war. It's no massacre. That's just war. And Dave was frozen. He's like, what? It's fucking Chappelle. It's the Chappelle with Wayne Brady. If you ever seen that skit, that's exactly what it was. Where like you just pull the gun out and shoot someone right in front of you, like, what the fuck? You're just like stunned that someone's like that, are willing to go to those lengths of like doing like horrible actions or saying horrible things. He's like, damn, like this is not real to me. He looked butthurt about it, like fuck. So like someone broke his heart, and which I guess kind of happened. But all right, here we go. Either way, just plenty of things to criticize Dave Smith about. Sorry for the tangent, but it's too interesting for me to not point out. Right now, all I'm seeing, right now, Tucker and Candace 100% for sure. Tucker, like, right now, like 95%, looking sus as shit to me. Looks weird. Like, the way they're going about this just looks weird. Here we go.
And he has credibility and he has knowledge, and he's a marvelous debater, and once again a really good person. So you have to take out Dave Smith. Debater. You have to take out Joe Kent. Those are the good people. You have to take out JD Vance. He was against JD Vance. So if you're against like more,
how are you against JD Vance? There's plenty of shit out there that once again Tucker will be late to. He's already late now, but he's going to be even more late as time goes by about JD Vance. I know I said that already, but it's worth the emphasizing because JD, why are you going after JD Vance? I mean, the vice president who's working with the war criminal Epstein cover-up fucking president? That JD Vance? Fuck. What a stupid fucking... That's ridiculous. Here we go.
And once again, a really good person. So you have to take out Dave Smith. You have to take out Joe Kent. Those are the good people. You have to take out JD Vance. He was against JD Vance. So if you're against like more pointless wars on behalf of foreign powers, like you're probably not going to be attacking JD Vance. And Vance was exactly the person he was attacking. So
we had the Signal tweets, or texts that got leaked. JD Vance was like excellent on a bombing strike in Yemen. Remember that, guys? Where it kills, once again, mostly civilians. They bombed an apartment building where some Houthi guy might have visited at some point. Who knows if he was even in the building. Or maybe they waited for him to get into the building first, and then they bombed the whole fucking thing. Where they kill mostly civilians. And JD Vance's like, good job. If you're against these wars, how could you be against JD Vance? I don't know, Tucker. I have a fucking brain. That's how. Like, that screams sus to me. The Joe Kent guy, I don't know so well. Dave Smith, I understand. But this JD Vance guy, that's the one where you're like, these are good people. Why would you attack good people like this? And you bring up JD Vance as a fucking name? Are you kidding me? After all the shit where you're hearing about, Israel runs our foreign policy, right, Tucker? And I don't want these endless wars, right, Tucker? Wouldn't it be important or pertinent for you to start investigating these people that are in these positions of power, but yet the bombs keep flying anyways? Like, is he going to call J.D. Vance a victim of the Trump administration? He doesn't act like he's a victim. He acts like he's a part of it. And that's not to mention all the tech shit that is now going to infiltrate the fucking government. Not infiltrate in like a sneaky way, but they're just going to be a part of the government now. It's open and overt at this point. It's hard for me to look at Tucker and be like, damn, are you that stupid? Are you that ignorant of all this? It's probably like before. I bet Nick criticized Trump before the election. But because we have the hindsight of the situation, right? Where Tucker can't call that out. He went after Trump. Can't do that now, can you? But before the election, if Tucker would have said something, he's going after Trump, and he's speaking out against these wars. That screams full of shit, bro. This guy sounds like he's full of shit. And I've been kind of nice to Tucker recently. Mainly, it's less so for him. It's more so for the guests he has, right? Like the Tony Aguilar, the whistleblower from the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, whistleblowing all the war crimes happening in Gaza and at the food distribution centers. Right? So I'm not even like really paying so hard attention to Tucker, but this shit stands out. And I had no idea that this was in this fucking video. Thank God I covered this one. Here we go.
And the sad thing is, and I know that no one who watches him will believe me because they're desperate, because they are the victims of a system that hates him. It's young white men who've been totally cut out of our economy, attacked mercilessly, given, narcotics, just go die. I mean, they really are the victims, and they're desperate, and no one speaks for them. So they go to Fuentes because he's like incredibly articulate, and they think he's our leader. But in one of the saddest ironies of all, like he's acting against your interests, actually. It's
yeah,
it's really dark.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
Wow. Yeah, Tucker. What a fucking lame-o, man. An actual lame-o. Like, and so you do speak in their interest? I'm not sure about that, Tucker. You just showcase you don't. Maybe you're trying to, and you're just that stupid about someone like J.D. Vance, or you just unquestionably just support whatever people because they were nice to me. That's not good enough, considering the world that you claim to be realizing about or knowing about now. Incredible. Fucking incredible. Now, granted, I do think Nick, whether it's him being honest or him being full of shit, either way, I do think the overall outcome is working against their interest, actually. Like, he's moving in what I would consider this is an unhealthy direction for anyone. For anyone. It's like the people isolating themselves from the rest of was it the white community in, what state was it in? The Ozarks, right? They're like, all white only. No blacks, no Latinos, no Jews, just whites only. Right? Of a little community, what's it called? Community or whatever, or a little town or whatever. It's like, hey, if you guys aren't harming anyone, you're not here to push anyone down, you just want to live isolated and do your thing on your own, fine. Like, you can do that, but is that the most healthy direction to go in? Probably not. Probably not. And I think nature will expose that. As maybe one of your kids grow up and they're like, what's this thing called rap music? Or, who's this Michael Jordan guy? Or, wow, who made this awesome movie? Whatever. They most likely, because of the cool shit that exists from awesome people on the planet, like talented, awesome people on the planet, because of those things, they're going to want to, go experience it, right? Like, one life to live, you might as well go experience things. And I suspect that will be their little IQ test situation, where the healthy thing would be like, all right, do your thing, but we always love you. You can always come back here. We'll always look after you. Or it can be a thing like, you're not going anywhere, where you just become a tyrant to your child. Like, you're not going anywhere. I own you. Like, now you're a slave owner. Instead of being dad or mom, now you're a slave owner. Got it. So, but time will tell with that shit. And I think the same thing applies to Nick. Once again, he could be like, in his mind, well-meaning, like he's trying to make the world a better place in his own version of the world. But I think you're gonna hit crossroads and paths where unhealthy scenarios are gonna happen. Straight up. You want a world for your own, for all the 3/4 white people in the world. You want a whole thing for yourselves. Okay, but if someone goes against the grain in your little community, whether it's within your YouTube or whatever content creation community, or you start an actual thing in real life, if someone goes against it, how are you going to handle that? There's your little IQ test for you. Your moral IQ test. There it is. But I can see how things could turn unhealthy to, in a way, agree with Tucker. Not really agree with him. I have my own version, but I could see the room for that statement. All right, here we go. But also, Candace, 100% I think works against people's interests. Like, straight up does it. Straight up. With no apologies when she's wrong about something or was wrong about something. Just mows down, just keeps mowing through life, making sure she wins no matter what. Here we go.
Against your interests, actually. It's
Yeah.
it's really dark.
Yeah, I don't believe he says, I no longer think that he believes what he says. And I can say that, like, even the whole, I just say I'm a racist. I know in part he says stuff to be entertaining, and that's fine. There's an element of it that is meant to be entertaining. But you got on a flight to come down onto a podcast with a black woman. Like, I don't think you're racist. I don't believe your ideas that women, he's like, women need to shut up. It's like, okay, why are you on my podcast? Why are you saying that you want people to have you on their podcasts? So there's a gap between what he says and how he acts. And for me, that's just worthy of dismissing, full stop. Be authentic.
Yeah, I think he does. I think he does do the character thing on it when he's isolated in his own little studio or recording room or whatever, versus actually being in front of people. All right. But that's more like, I don't know. I could see someone being like that and doing shit like that. Like, it is what it is. And I don't think he calls himself racist, by the way. I think he calls himself a racialist, as in, like, saying, like, there are distinctions between races, deeper than skin, like, deeper than the skin, right? Or the ethnicity or whatever. Which to me is stupid, as far as why they go that direction. A lot of it is to talk about, oh, look at race and IQ, right? Which holds no, like, and I guess the IQ part would explain why people are more violent than other people, which is also just not true. Right? I can point out every race and just point atrocities out. Left, right, up, and down atrocities from all different races. Straight up. From the Middle East to America to Europe to China or Japan to fucking Russia to Australia to all different Africa to people all different places. South America that commit atrocities. And guess what? Those guys that commit atrocities are usually the higher IQ guys. Right? They get the higher test scores and they become lawyers and go to Georgetown or some shit like that, right? Or they get like a law degree and they become president one day, right? But yet they commit atrocities across the fucking planet. All different ethnicities, religions, backgrounds, all different types. Anyways, let's continue. Actually, like probably seemingly the least violent people are like probably like the average to. I mean, because you have environmental circumstances. right? Because if you have a quote unquote low IQ and your family doesn't come from money, and you get caught up in criminal actions and all that shit, like, yeah, that can happen. But it seems like there's a very blatant, obvious explanation for that one beyond genetics. Anyway, all right, I'm talking too much about this. Here we go.
Says and how he acts. And for me, that's just worthy of dismissing, full stop. You know, be authentic. I don't care who you are. Like, genuinely, I kind of like Taylor Lorenz because I know that she actually believes what she says.
Totally
You get what I'm
agree.
saying?
I
Like, at
totally
least she's
agree.
authentic. And she's been wearing a mask for 5 years. Okay? It is real to her. COVID is real to her. This is not a...
Okay. Moving on. I don't want to hear authenticity from Candace Owens. That's its own video on its own. Why is Witkoff trending? I'm curious. What'd he do?
By the way, he did call himself a racist on their little podcast. He was like, "Yeah, I usually call myself a racialist, but I guess I'm a racist."
Oh, really? Okay.
But
I thought he was being like tongue in cheek, like jokey.
well, no, he was, and then he tried to make a point out of it. He was like, "Yeah, like I do believe in, like not interbreeding. I want my kids to look like me and all that type of stuff." And he's like, "I do believe like conservatives try to act like there isn't a difference between races, but I don't agree with that. I do think there is a clear difference." And that's when he went into like the IQ thing of like sub-Sahara and how he said Egypt isn't in Africa and like all that shit. And how like white people have made like all the advances in like science, like chemistry and anthropology or whatever. So
yeah. By the way, those are incorrect as well. But also, it's like, why are you taking credit for some shit other people did? That's the one that bothers me the most. Is like, look, we made this. Like, you didn't fucking make this. You can't do this shit. If I handed you a fucking lab, like, go ahead, cure cancer for me, Nick. He can't fucking do it. I'm sure there is some other white person or people from all different types of races that are working towards that, getting closer than anyone else has ever gotten, right? Based on past people's work, right? So it's like scientist to scientist versus, content creator to scientist. Like, no, you don't get to reap those benefits of of self-glory from other people. But then again, his arguments are borrowed from Jared Taylor and Stefan Molyneux and people like that have washed out years ago. Like, let's be honest. Just kind of poor arguments for these things, and let's be real. The whole point of the Jared Taylors and Stefan Molyneux bringing up race and IQ is to point out, look at the gang crime in America. Look at the gangs. See what they're doing? See that? But, of course, they don't deem something that the President of the United States does as criminal. They don't view it as criminal. If they did, it would be staggering. The numbers would be staggering of deaths in a short period of time would be staggering. But they don't consider those crimes, right? They don't consider that a crime. So they just go off FBI statistics that, guess what, commit their own crimes. The FBI commits their own fucking crimes too. So it's faulty off rep. It's already faulty. But don't worry, they'll spend their whole lives trying to make it true. Instead of like living their lives, they'd rather spend time trying to make it true. Which I don't think Nick does, actually. I think that's more of, J-Tay, Jared Taylor, or Matt Hunter in my chat. Like, damn, is all you live for, man? Like, go to a concert or something. Go to the fucking beach. Go to a bar. Like, hang out or some shit. Let me see. During Witkoff and Huckabee's propaganda tour of Gaza, IDF soldiers murdering starving Palestinians with silencers so they wouldn't hear the gun. Whoa. Really? I'm bookmarking that one. Now, I already saw a video where there was shots going off, and then once the envoy shows up, once the SUVs start rolling in, all of a sudden the shots stop ringing out. They probably do their little photo op, right? They do their little photo op, and then they leave. and then they go back to shooting. Now, I wonder, where's the source for this? Pathetic play behind it. Yeah, I'm going to bookmark some things. I know I'm doing a video, but I'm going to bookmark some things before... It's from Al Jazeera. Okay. Put Al Jazeera there so I know where to go to. All right, let's keep it moving. Once again, more disgusting actions. Over there. Once again, the propaganda is not something that's working on Steve Witkoff, by the way, the envoy to that went to the one of the GHF sites. It's not propaganda working on that fool. Let's be honest. He was already a part of the propaganda. He's already like, yeah, I know what you guys are doing, but quiet the gunshots while we take some photos and shake some hands, right? Just calm down the shooting or make it a little bit quieter or whatever, so I can get some photo ops in, make it look like we care. Incredible. But hey, guys, you can come up with like a two-state solution so that people aren't like that ends like the reason for the wars in the first place, right? For the people shooting at each other and all that stuff. The real reason is because one guy wants a state, the other guy wants them out, completely out, like leave, go away. If you give them a state, they can't do anything at that point. Now they're dealing with international bodies like directly, like okay, you guys are. I mean, they already are deemed committing crimes against humanity. But, like, now it's, like, a little bit more official because they have statehood and UN representation, which means there's money and resources backing them, right? And Israel can't have that, and the U.S. can't have that. So whenever you hear someone saying, if someone said, hey, guys, what about a two-state solution? These fools are going to tell you, well, sounds like you work for Hamas, which is, once again, an empty statement that means nothing. An empty, dismissive statement. Oh, what are you trying to favor Hamas by giving the people that are being massacred a fucking state, a home to live in? Sounds like you support Hamas. They're not supposed to have a home, you dummies. We're trying to exterminate and expel them. And there is no way that if that sounds extreme to people, it is not. That is literally what's happening. Literally. Check out the video I did, or just watch Tucker's video where he's interviewing Tony Aguilar, one of the GHF aid workers, right? And he became a whistleblower because he's like, yeah, all of this is out of protocol. These 5, 6 things are war crimes, and you're doing it right in front of our faces. Right in front of us. Like, these guys are ex-military guys. Like, they know the rules of quote-unquote engagement, right? They know all those things. And as brazen as it gets, they are shooting people right in front of them. And that guy has no recourse, right? The Tony Aguilar guy. He can't go to the U.S., he can't go to the president. Yo, Mr. President, bro, they're like, maybe you didn't know about this, but they're slaughtering people over there. Like, unarmed people that are seeking food. Emaciated, starving people with no weapons getting shot and killed. What are you going to do about that, Mr. President? Who the fuck is this guy? Security. I'm a decorated lieutenant colonel in the fucking special forces. I've been doing that forever. Like, I'm one of your most decorated people. Like, I got shot in battle. Like, I'm a combat vet too, not some office guy. Like, I go out in the field and do combat missions. I don't care. Get security. Get him out of here. Shut him up. Get him out. That is what you're dealing with. Anyways, let's go back to Nick Fuentes and the Candace and Tucker thing. How could you criticize J.D. Vance? How could you do that? Well, Tucker, apparently you were born yesterday, apparently. But all right, let's keep it bland. Here is Nick's response. A portion of Nick's response to all of this. Here we go.
I'm being accused of being the CIA by Peter Thiel's best boys?
See?
by Tucker Carlson.
Off rip. He knows about Peter Thiel and Palantir, which means he knows about J.D. Vance and Palantir. And yes, Peter Thiel and that whole org and all the tech bros, yes, they are fucking sus. They are super suspect. Super suspect. What was it, day 2? Where, what's his name? Like James Ellison? I forgot his name. I think it's James. James Ellison got $500 billion to work on mRNA vaccines to cure cancer. That guy's not a doctor, by the way. Maybe he's a doctor, but he's not like a medical doctor. He's a fucking tech guy. They want to train AI to, I guess, diagnose and cure cancer. That was day 2. Now, if you're like, yo, Jordan, that might be, maybe that's legit. Okay, fair enough. Why are they giving out $200 million paychecks out to tech companies to use it, not for civilian use, but for the military? Why is that happening? Okay. But wait. There is domestic use of these things. As in, like, facial recognition. Right? To where, like, yo, we can catch you jaywalking now. Before, we couldn't take, like, steal money from you for jaywalking because it's just jaywalking, right? But if we have tech that is observing you doing things, right? Where cops can't be observing, boom, we got you right there. We know your face, it's all on file. Boom. You are now in the system. We will now take whatever, $25, $50 from your bank account because like we're going to garnish some money from you. That is a real thing. Maybe in China now, but what was Trump's statements? Trump's statements were, we need to keep up with China and Russia and keep up and be ahead of them in tech and AI capabilities. Right? That was his excuse. And that's some of the things that China has. And they want to do it here. Let's just be honest. So they can steal more money from you. It's like that shit with the national debt, right? We're like, hey, Americans, do you want to donate here to like help lower the debt? Yeah, sure, I'll give you $5 to help lower a $37 trillion debt. It's like, the reason why the debt is there is not because of regular Americans. It's because of the overspending and the fucking money printing of the U.S. government. That's why that shit's like that. But they want us to directly pay it. Or chip in a little bit. And if we don't, they probably call us like lazy or you're not. Why aren't you trying to help the country, huh? I'm sorry, I go on tangents sometimes. I will start from the very beginning again. Here's Nick Fuentes correctly pointing out Peter Thiel and Palantir being a part of these things. Here we go.
I'm being accused of being the CIA by Peter Thiel's best boys. By Tucker Carlson with his daddy. Tucker Carlson's, and you know what? Here's the other thing. Tucker Carlson said I'm a weird gay kid in the basement. Yeah, and I'm from Chicago. You're right. Well,
whoa. Nick just outed himself. He just outed himself right there. No, I saw this already, so he's gonna make a joke after that, but here we go. It's like, I am gay. No, I'm just joking. All right, here we go.
Yeah, and I'm from Chicago. You're right. Well, okay, you're not right about all of that.
He called himself.
But I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. Tucker Carlson says, I have so many trust funds, I never have to work. Tucker went to a $45,000 per year private high school, then a $45,000 per year selective Ivy League school in New England. Tucker Carlson's daddy was a Reagan appointee. And then, after years of bragging about being an elite, bragging about being so out of touch and so rich, now he's going to be the spokesperson for all the white people. Now he's going to roll up his sleeves. I just like to hunt and fish in my log cabin. I care about Klarna and credit card debt. But then when it comes to me, I'm one of the real disaffected white people. You want to talk about me and them? I am them. He says Nick Fuentes is leading all of the disaffected young white men. I am a disaffected young white man. I was a precocious, intelligent, young white college student who went to Boston University, who was pro-Trump and red-pilled by Trump and animated by Trump's message of America first. And I
Stop using red pill, Nick. Leave that one alone. You guys are not fans of the fucking Matrix. You're too dumb to be that. Anyways, here you go.
Trump and red-pilled by Trump and animated by Trump's message of America
Shut up, bro.
first.
Nick's talking.
And I asked questions about Israel, and I was punished for it. I did it years before Tucker Carlson started talking about Israel last year. And I sacrificed, and I was targeted by the ADL, by the SPLC, by the federal government, by the conservative movement that both Candace and Tucker were a part of.
I'm sorry, but that ammo is blatantly there. Tucker, Candace, late on everything, and they helped build the thing that they're now complaining about. Now, I believe Nick did too to some degree, but not as much as Candace and Tucker, where it's just unrelenting dick riding. And, no, he's a good guy. I shook his hand once. Like, sorry guys, there's plenty of ammo for that. And I think they know that too, which makes me think they're full of shit. And I mean, I'm aware that Candace is most likely full of shit. Tucker, what I just heard today, man, sounds like he's full of shit too, honestly. But, all right, here's Nick.
Government, by the conservative movement that both Candace and Tucker were a part of. Candace and Tucker had nothing to say about Israel until it became unavoidable last year. Not popular, but unavoidable. And now they want to gatekeep me out and do this personality attack and say I'm a bitter loser in my basement from Chicago. I'm a kid from Chicago. And they slipped up there because they forgot for 1 second that they're pretending to be the spokesperson for exactly that kind of person. Tucker's mask slipped, and he forgot for a minute that for 8 years he's been pretending to care about the plight of weird kids in their parents' basement who are broke and didn't go to an Ivy League school, living in cities that don't matter like Chicago, not like Washington, D.C. or L.A. or New York. And that's why he had such disdain and contempt for me in that moment.
I don't know if that's Tucker's reasons, but like, as like Nick not being the rich kid or whatever, but he's got a point on the other stuff. I mean, that is your target audience, Tucker. These are the people calling you truth tellers, and Candace as well. Like, these are the people they do target as like audience members for sure. These like old fucking rhino type people, right? That are still staring at Fox News or CNN or MSNBC or whatever the fuck. Mainly Fox News, right? Those guys. Those guys, they're not looking at those guys. They're not targeting those guys for their influence. They're not. It's younger people. And they saw the idea about Israel, and they latched onto it. That's what it fucking looks like. Maybe, once again, I leave a little bit more room with Tucker because I don't know as much about him. I don't watch him as much. And he's usually like some sort of passive observer or something. Once in a while, I'll see him like rant and rave about something, but he's mainly like an interviewer just stepping back and asking questions. But with Candace, for sure, like, she leaned so hard into the Israel stuff because she saw the growing, like, she tried to poach. She was like trying to poach Nick's audience, I assume, or that like world, right? Once they adopt the ideas, they can twist it and turn it into a different direction, or make it just beneficial for themselves. That's why them being so late with all the resources that they're supposed to be having, right? For Candace and Tucker, for all the resources they're supposed to be having, like, what's their, like, you have to think about, like, what's the reason why you're this late on these topics? It looks sus on its own. That's why Nick has a point. And you obviously heard me saying this the whole time while watching it. I'm like, aren't you guys like born yesterday when it comes to these topics? Like, for real. Fuck my life. I hate the CIA. What the fuck does that mean? What the fuck does that mean? Here we go.
Between the personality attacks, he's lonely, he's weird, he lives in a basement.
Yep.
I'm sorry, did you guys forget that that's your target audience that you're trying to pander to?
Yep.
Did you forget that for 2 seconds? And I'm the inauthentic person? I am that person. I am a spokesman for the disaffected white man because I am one, and you two are not.
3/4 what? Here we go.
Candace Owens got married to British royalty worth $200 million after meeting him for 2 weeks on Zoom. What the fuck is even that about?
I swear to God, I did not watch this video. I saw the initial portion. I'm like, okay, I'll go with this clip. But I did not watch the whole thing at all. I didn't get up to... I got nowhere up to this point, the 3-minute mark. But he said this exact... like, a lot of the same shit I was saying. It's like, yo, Candace, that shit looks sus as fuck. You got your dude proposed to you on a Zoom call or a FaceTime or some shit like that without ever going on a date with you. And yes, that guy's worth a shit ton of money as well. He's connected to British royalty. He's connected to people in South Africa. Like shady people. I mean, some people are considering intelligence, Israeli intelligence attached to it as well, and along with American, like CIA people as well. Yeah, that whole thing looks sus as fuck. It looks like Game of Thrones, like arranged marriage so that powers can unite. I'm just saying. All right. Like I said, I didn't watch up all this shit, so it is funny that he's saying the same things. All right, here we go.
And Tucker Carlson's dad ran the CIA's propaganda empire fighting the Soviet Union. He went and fought with the Contras when he was in college. When I was in college, I was doing a webcam show in my friend's dorm room criticizing Israel.
What's funny is that Tucker admits that this random kid with no resources outflanked him on his dad's own ties to intelligence. That is crazy. That is crazy, actually. But also, like, someone's parents doesn't make you them, right? I'm talking about Tucker based on his fucking actions. That's what's making him look sus. The things he was saying in this thing, like, it sounded way different than other things I've heard Tucker talk about. But maybe because it was such an easy topic to get as far as, like, get correct. Right? Like, okay, here's a war crime that Tucker's calling out, or the U.S. bombing Iran, or, you know, the Epstein stuff with Trump. Like, okay, those are pretty easy topics to get it correct, right? But this one's a little bit more, there's a little bit more abstraction needed, I think. And the way he answered everything looks sus as fuck. Once again, that's not for me not taking Nick off the hook. It's just, that's still just like, regardless, it just looks weird. The way Tucker was talking about him. And talking about the other people. How could you question J.D. Vance? Stupid sound. Like, and Candace is a straight up sus, man. Like, no way around it for me. Anyways, here we go.
So who's the CIA cutout? Who's the inauthentic one? Who's the crazy, hateful one? I would never describe a well-meaning young white person who's trying to get ahead as a weird kid in his basement from Chicago. And what is that supposed to mean? What is wrong with being from Chicago? What is wrong with being weird? What is wrong with living in your basement? That's a lot of people because of the problems you claim to care about.
Now, to be fair, I make fun of people for being short or bald or funny looking or nerdy looking. Now, I don't make fun of these people because of those things, right? Like, it's okay to be bald. It's okay to be a nerd. It's okay to be any of these things. It's more so that I don't like that motherfucker. So that's why I'm shitting on him in any way. It's very immature. But that does happen, Nick. Right? Where the point was just to knock you down instead of going off after all of it. But he is right, though. There's nothing wrong with being weird. And obviously nothing wrong with being from Chicago. So, yeah, I agree. Here we go.
Tucker's at Turning Point USA extolling the predatory nature of usury and how it's preventing young white men from getting homes. And then the week after says, you're in your mom's basement. So which is it? So which is it? Do you care about Klarna and people going into debt to order pizzas and home ownership being impossible? Or do you think that's a contemptible, low-status thing to be ridiculed and mocked? Who's pandering here exactly? Because that wasn't you. You were born to the Swanson family fortune and your daddy who ran the CIA. You know, my dad didn't even graduate college. My dad worked for the tollway. His dad died of a drug overdose in the 70s. My mother's father was a garbage man in Chicago, and he committed suicide. He was a veteran of World War II. Who's the CIA cutout? Who's the poser? Who is America? I am America. Chicago is America. That's an American story. I didn't go to Yale Law School and suck Peter Thiel's dick and then get a sinecure at a venture capital firm advising Rebecca Mercer and writing Hillbilly Elegy and talking about it at the Aspen Institute. That's your biographical credibility? How many of these disaffected white people that love Trump because he's racist went to Yale Law School and got plucked out by Peter Thiel, whoever he even is? Peter Thiel with his fixation with the Antichrist, this homosexual who's involved with the CIA, who wants to live forever and govern the world with AI. Yeah, that's really relatable. That's really relatable. Do another show with him and Curtis Yarvin. Do another show. Do the 47th show with J.D. Vance.
Now, I'm not going to say everything here Nick is saying is correct. There's plenty of correct things in there. Some not so much. Like anyone can come from any background and be a righteous person, right? They could be ignorant and then learn shit later on and have an epiphany and then try to do better, right? But I'm going to say, like, if there was, let's say, a neutral audience member, right, watching the Tucker and Candace shit and then watching this, Nick is just, he's winning the campaign right there, bro. He's winning the election in that one. He's kind of killing him, bro. He's killing him. He's appealing to things. Once again, not saying for righteous reasons, but he's in his bag, bro. He's in his zone. It is what it is. Like, it's like he just, like, you two, like Tucker and Candace just look just weird as fuck to me talking. This guy is sounding like he's inspired and is inspiring. So that's just hilarious. But all right, here we go.
It is insulting, and it is insulting to everybody's intelligence for Tucker to sit there and say he doesn't know his dad is in the CIA, for him to say that I'm in the CIA. What a joke. What a sick joke. Especially after everything that's happened to me. And unlike what Candace Owens says, she says, what happened to him when he was 18? What happened to me is ongoing. Okay? Unlike Candace Owens and Tucker, I never got a contract with Ben Shapiro and Rupert Murdoch. I was on Maker Support. I was on Patreon. I was on D Live.
Pause.
I had to fight for everything I have. I didn't get a...
You were on a D Live, bro? Weird. Maybe he has a gay kid from Chicago. Gay kid in his basement. Chicago. All right, here we go. Sorry, I'm immature.
I was on Maker Support. I was on Patreon. I was on D Live.
Pause, bro.
I had to fight for everything I have. I didn't get $1 million contract from Turning Point. I didn't get $20 million from Fox News. My daddy didn't get me a job in Arkansas.
God damn. He's roasting the fuck out of them. I might let me see, because I think I have more. I think I have more videos. Like a different clip. Yeah, I can't tell which ones, or I don't know if, let me see. Let me see if this is part of the same clip.
Carlson's dad ran the CIA's propaganda empire.
Oh, okay, we just heard that one. Good. Tucker mass slipped. Okay, so we watched already. Oh, I think this is him saying, yeah, I'd go on your show or something.
The truth fears no investigation. That's what I've always believed. And I will say one last thing before we dive right into it. The easiest way to find out what's going on, go to the source. So I would say before we even begin the discussion to Tucker Carlson, to anyone that knows him, share this with him. He will never see it because he claims to not have a TV or email or anything. So who knows if he'll see this, but if you know him and if you see him, and if you'd be a friend, pass along this message. Clip this and pass along this message. Tucker, I'm ready. You are a journalist. You have made an accusation.
He's not a journalist.
You have asked a question. Now, Tucker says
He's a
he
pundit.
has not watched my show. He's never met me. We've never talked. And if there was any uncertainty before, I will dispel all ambiguity right now. I have never spoken to Tucker in my life. I don't know him. And yet he's making some pretty big claims about me for somebody who doesn't watch my show and doesn't know me and has no experience with me. And I would say if you would give the president of Iran a chance, if you would give Prime Minister Netanyahu a chance, he's offered to interview him, Vladimir Putin, Ted Cruz, Candace Owens, if he's willing to debate Ben Shapiro, he called out Ray Epps, who is also accused of being a Fed involved in January 6th. Why not me? If I am the Pied Piper, as he claims, leading the disaffected young white men down a bad path, if I'm an inorganic actor, I'm a big boy. Ask me the tough questions. Interrogate me like you interrogated Ted Cruz. Get to the bottom of it. You are a journalist, after all. And if you're confident in your position, then one of two things will come to light. Either you will prove beyond a shadow of a doubt before the whole world, you will impeach my character and prove that I'm a bad faith actor. And the spell will be broken. And the true opponents of the neocons will prevail. Or you will find, or the audience will find, that I am who I say I am. And they will learn why I have attacked J.D. Vance and Joe Kent and Tucker himself. Maybe we'll find the whole thing was a big misunderstanding. And maybe Tucker will apologize to me if he got it wrong. But you don't know until you have the conversation. I don't fear the tough questions. I don't fear sunlight, which is the best disinfectant. So if you have the balls to gossip about me and make snarky personal attacks with Candace Owens, and you're both going to talk about me and about what happened and about other things, I think it's only right that I should be able to reply. I think it's only right that I should be able to face the accusation. I'm not asking for you to do a puff piece. I'm not asking for you to take it easy on me. I'm not asking for you to promote me or defend me. Be as tough as you want to be. Ask me anything. I'm here for it. I think that's reasonable. If you're able to say it when I'm not in the room, you should say it to my face.
Okay. All right. Fine. Here's your clip. That was like, I guess, the intro to all of it. And then he goes on his roast session. But yeah, like Howard Tucker, I'd be like, why not? That makes sense. But then again, Tucker, in the thing I just saw, it screams sus. He does to me. For what was I gonna say? God damn it! I hate when I forget things. So I was like in the midst of watching it. I'm like, I'll say this idea. I just forget it. Fuck. I was gonna say, but I can tell that Nick is definitely pepping it. Like, let's be real, it's good for business type of shit. If like, I leave room for that possibility that Nick is saying all this. But yeah, challenge me on your show. Let's talk about all this stuff, right? I think there's like a media motive to that, right? A platform thing and growing your audience thing to it. I could be wrong, but I smell that in the midst of this. Which is like, whatever. Yeah, I get it. But, all right, I'm done watching this thing. I thought this was going to be like a lame thing, like a lame duck thing, but actually got intriguing and interesting statements from both sides. And as you saw, once again, no, maybe like you don't have to believe me, but this is the truth. I did not watch. I watched like a little bit of some of these portions of Nick's videos, so I didn't know he was going to say some similar things that I was saying. I thought that I think is like just pretty obvious when watching Candace and Tucker have a discussion about Nick. I'm like, you guys like have no ground to really stand on with all this. Here's all the fuckery you guys are involved in. One of the most sus things to me is like being late to a topic that they kind of helped build in the first place. Right? I mean, like directly. Like, look at the war in Iraq, right? That war led all the way to us bombing Iran this year, right? And the over support for Israel and Saudi Arabia and all these things, right? And the reshaping of the Middle East and supporting Al Qaeda as the leader of Syria, right? Tucker played a direct role in that because he was on mainstream news selling that fucking war. Selling it. And obviously, years later, he's like, oops, my bad, I'm sorry. Let me speak out against it. Well, it's too late now, Tucker. And then with Tucker and Candace, the whole Trump phenomenon, where they helped boost him up. Helped boost him up and boosted him and campaigned for him and probably and most definitely voted for him. And then tell us, well, he wasn't the right guy. After he gets elected, after he's doing atrocities, after he's doing horrible things, the cover-ups. Now these guys are like, well, man, maybe Trump is a bad guy. But also, here's the most damning part, is that they expect to be the leaders, in a way. It's bizarre. And I'm not saying like Tucker or Candace have outwardly said we're the leaders of this thing. But let's be real, the way they're moving like they didn't absolutely, titanically fuck up in the first place. But now they're supposed to give us the fucking answers to the problem that they helped create? That's batshit crazy. It's like, oops, I made a mistake. But Tucker, you said he made a mistake about Iraq. Wouldn't that beg the question and almost demand that you start investigating things so that you never get tricked again? Right? Iraq wasn't just, okay, we're going to go bomb Iraq now. There was a whole thing built. There's a whole build up to it of politicians lying to people to build up all that shit. Was there anything that Trump was saying or doing in his first term or when he's campaigning to showcase, like, damn, he might ramp things up? Yes, there was. How hardcore did Tucker or Candace investigate any of that stuff? Probably not much. Probably not much. And then their mistakes, once again, they are not the deciders and drivers of all things in life, right? I can't blame them for someone listening to them, right? That's that person's problem, of them just going along with whatever Tucker says or whatever Candace says, right? But at the same time, they did make a mistake, and now they claim to be the fixers of it. Like, oh, all these people are being what's the word? Like blackmailed by Israel. Gee, thanks, Candace. Oh, they're like covering up the Epstein stuff. Thanks, Tucker. It's almost like you could see that in the first administration of Trump. Holy fuck. It's almost like blatantly obvious from the first administration. Kind of crazy. Whatever. I'm done with this. There's your video. Please subscribe if you feel like. Comment. Agree, disagree. What do you think of, like, forget about me. What do you think of where Tucker and Candace and what they're talking about, you know, in regards to Nick? And what do you think about Nick's response to it? Tell me in the comment section. Don't forget to share, support, hopefully donate to all the links in the description box. Check them out, read them, share them, then donate. All of it is very much appreciated. And with all that said, please, obviously, of course, give this video a thumbs down.
Say you wanna get in.